Hello, my name is Lumiel, and this is my Bloodborne Lorethrough, where I play through Bloodborne and uncover lore in real time, as it's exposed through dialogue, environment, cutscenes, and notes, and we try to piece it together as it's presented chronologically. In the last episode, we defeated Father Gascoigne. We tied up some loose ends in Central Yharnam. We made our way through Erden Tomb to Erden Chapel, which is right on the edge of the Cathedral Ward, and we continued on through to just the gate of Old Yharnam. So we will continue on from Old Yharnam, but first I wanted to talk to this lady that we sent to Erden Chapel, as it is a safe place and she was looking for one. And I wanted to talk to the person who welcomed us to Erden Chapel and told us about it in the first place. So, let's go ahead and do that.
Ah, the hunter. Thank you. So that old girl, you told her about this place, right? Well, she don't offer me much in the way of conversation, but still, I'd rather see her alive anyhow.
So he gave us a new gesture called Triumph.
If you find any sane survivors, well, send them along to Erden Chapel, will ya?
So he said if you find sane survivors. Prior, he had mentioned how the night is longer and darker and worse than it's ever been, and that even people shut up inside are starting to go mad and turn into beasts. So he warned us before to just send people that we think are worthy of this safe place. But he is eager to welcome people to this safe place. Let's find out if he has anything else to say.
If you find any sane survivors, send them along to Erden Chapel, will ya?
So, nothing new. It's always good to try to exhaust any dialogue each time you talk to someone. So let's talk to her. Last time, she asked us about a safe place. We told her here, and I'm sure she's very kind and gracious now that we've done that.
Oh no, I haven't forgotten. Do you think I owe you something? Well, that's a fine lark, I'd say. This whole mess that Yharnam's in is all your fault. You put it to the outsiders. Our blood's ruined, tainted by your ilk. Don't you come near me. I know your type.
So, there's some xenophobia tied up in that. Our blood's tainted by your ilk, you outsiders. But this is Bloodborne, and it is essentially completely centered around a church and a whole society that is at some point discovered blood rituals that bring healing properties and perhaps other strange abilities from the blood. So the thing is, she may be xenophobic, but she may be right. So we will do one last thing, and then we will return to Old Yharnam, which we know to be abandoned and set afire. And then I probably will start stopping right before the bosses of areas and do those as individual episodes. So if somebody just wants to see the boss fight, they can do that. But before we go to Old Yharnam, there's one last thing I want to grab. And so we'll do that. I'll just run past everyone here, and we'll deal with this area when we get here. But something as far as like us being interested in lore, as told through the environment, it will be useful to have an item that I thought was right there, but it turns out it's right here. So we got the monocular, which you may recognize being similar to a binocular. Essentially, it's like a telescope, so we'll be able to see far away things more clearly and more closely. And let's just head back into Erden Chapel, and we'll return to Hunter's Dream, and then return to Old Yharnam. And like I said, we'll try to make our way through Old Yharnam, doing as much as we can, and stop right before the boss. I'm trying to keep this under an hour, so we'll see how much of Old Yharnam we can actually get through in that time. So let's go ahead and continue on. Now, if you watched the last episode, you may remember that the note to Old Yharnam posted on the door, it warned us that hunters were not welcome there. So we will see. That could be true. Clearly, they're not overly welcome with that old lady or any other place. So there's the note I was referring to. Here's Old Yharnam, abandoned by the church.
You there? Hunter! Didn't you see the warning? Turn back at once. Old Yharnam, burned and abandoned by men, is now home only to beasts. They are of no harm to those above. Turn back, for the hunter will face the hunt.
So Old Yharnam is placed in a valley, and like he said, it's been abandoned by all men, specifically the church, and it is home now only to beasts who he says are no harm to anyone, as long as we stay out of their way. Old Yharnam is the home of, or it was afflicted by Ashen Blood, which led to the beast scourge. But Gehrman told us about a chalice that we need to perform certain rituals, and that that chalice is specifically located inside Old Yharnam, so we have to proceed on. Let's take a look at the monocular. I want to equip it and show you what it can do. So it's used like another item, but when we use it, we can see things more closely. For example, there's a tower there, and something odd on the structure above. So we see a typical skyrise, but a kind of standout tower there. Alright, so that will allow us to take a closer look. We're going to proceed this way. Before we do, I'll just pop down here for a moment. And we'll try to get that before it falls off the edge. And we did. And that gave us a bloodstone shard. These are... I don't know what they call them, just little crawling bits of chaos. You can see a skull in the mass. But we will find out potentially what they're called. But they are scurrying little creatures that give us items. And I had forgotten, and that's specifically why it's designed this way. I can't just pop back up there. So I guess we'll proceed this way at first. I'll have to come back for that item. And then we'll see there are only certain spots you can drop off along this rail. So we will drop off here. And then there's likewise another spot to drop off. And you could drop off that way. We're just going to drop down here. But here's where I was saying you could drop off again. There is something off to the distance there. Some nooks and crannies here. And let's take a look since we've got our monocular. It is something that is cloaked with beastly hands. And there's another one. And we got this one's attention first. Maybe, yep, we got both. No big deal. You'll see it's applying a status ailment of some sort to me. Remember, this place was essentially... Wow. This place was essentially completely shut off because of the Ashen Blood, which led to the Beast Scourge. So, they are... What that's telling us is they're essentially still sickly. I'll go ahead and continue down that way real quick, so we'll close that off before continuing on to the main path, which leads to the left. So there's the main path that it wants us to take. Here's the little drop off, and we will get the item this time right there. Bloodstone shard. Got a few of them now. Alright, so I'll just be more aggressive. And I got my blood echoes back from him. And he dropped a blood vial. So, there's nothing back in this corner. There is an item back here. It's a hunter's torch. So I have a torch. See, this is a regular torch. Common torch found by wrapping pine resin. We've read this before. This one is a torch that was once used in Old Yharnam, as we are here. So, designed to incinerate beasts and victims touched by the scourge. Its fire damage is highly effective against beasts. So, just comparing these, you can see it's got higher durability, it's got a higher fire attack, 25 to 50, and it scales better with arcane, which this scales at a D rate, this scales at a B rate. So we'll go ahead and equip that, though I rarely use them as weapons. Functionally as a lighting source, it's the same. And now I've got nowhere to go but to continue dropping down. So I didn't intend to take this route into Old Yharnam, but we'll see what difference it makes. So the main path would have led us kind of through these structures and towards that tower there, which was the tower we looked at before. And so here I have another path that I can drop down on. Cool statue there. Which, the statue reminds me of a larval creature we have not yet seen, but it is interesting. And there will be, I think, a ladder around this way. Alright, let's hurry up here. Long climb. Collect this item. Cold Blood Dew. And then this will drop us back up at the top. There is more we can do down that way, but I think I've been trying to do it kind of as the game is guiding you. If we do another lore through, like a second pass through everything, we may take different routes. So let's just go off this way. And it put us back at the top, which will allow us to take the bridge over. So, again, nothing... I think we'll trigger some more dialogue here in a second. It's light enough I can put away the torch. I like to trace the outside of an area and listen for footsteps. There's a guy. He was hiding behind the smoldering smoke. And here is another off in this corner looking at an item for us. Cold Blood Dew. Okay. So what the game wanted you to do is just rush on through the smoke. You would have been ambushed by this guy laying in wait behind it. And there was another one. And let's just see if there's anything around this corner. more cool statuary, more cool sky scenery, and some bloodstone shards. Okay, so I can see people moving around. We still have some of these crucified burning beasts, which seems to stand out a little bit in Old Yharnam, which is home only to beasts. So I think that this is meant to be kind of stuck in a spot of persecution where it was abandoned, not meant to be that they are still doing this here. I think that they shut it off and said leave us alone, and just kind of left it in the state it was in, such as with corpses hanging. So let's continue on. I may not even get through all of Old Yharnam in this playthrough.
You are a skilled hunter, adept.
He seems familiar with what we do. Not specifically us, but our type, our ilk. And he seems clear of mind, where a few we've met and interacted with have been. At least those that have been out in the open. It's a rarity, if at all. Now we've seen the person in Erden Chapel welcoming new people, and the old lady out in the open, but we've seen very few other than those shut up that could even speak clearly. And by shut up, I mean shut up in their houses. So this is an adept blood gemstone. I won't show all of these we pick up. They're just things that can be slotted into the weapons to give them more, like this one, it gives more blunt attack up by 0.8%. Not the best, but they will get better as you go through the game. So, I did say that we want to take the main path, kind of where the game's leading us. He said he must stop us. And see, the game kind of led us into that and allowed us to get shot right in the face. So we're supposed to go like, hey, I'm trying to go this way. And then he will do that. And it's forcing us to hide behind these things and look around and, okay, I want to go that way, but it's so damaging. What should I do? Now we're hiding here and we can see this drop off. And we can hear footsteps, so we know there's something in there. Another bloodstone shard. This is a pretty rich area for that. There's what we heard walking around. We're opening ourselves to if there are more in ambush, but let's go ahead and take care of him. We just saw for a moment before he fell, due to our camera angle, that his eyes were glowing red. We have an antidote, 3 of them. There is a door off this way. More guys out there. Let's go up here and see, can we go anywhere without being shot? Whoa. Oh, I thought somebody was right behind me. And that kind of just leads us right back to where we were. So it's another path. But let's stay behind these barriers as long as we can. There's another guy, he's trying to run this way. Let's let him. Oh, he's afraid of the torch. It had told us that some enemies would be. See? Let's put it away. I kind of just want to lure them as quick as we can over here. And now let's see. Let's get behind cover here. I did that on purpose to show you guys that these barrels explode. Obviously, I'm lying. Okay, more antidotes. There's the path we want to take. He fires in bursts, you'll notice, so right now it'd be safe to cross over. And that was the structure we saw at the top of the tower. A chain gun, essentially. So let's go ahead and keep crossing quickly. Some more bloodstone shards. And let's keep moving through here. Can he shoot us there? Mike. Anytime you enter an area, especially in FromSoft games, check your corners. Like, we came through this door, and there's a door, and it clearly wants you to just rush in that way. These guys would ambush you from behind. If you kept rushing, that guy would ambush you from the side. A big boy there. You can see he's a beast underneath the cover. Like we said, they had Ashen Blood, which was an affliction that led to the Beast Scourge, so it's kind of a predecessor there. We just got another gem, and so I will show this one. We've been looking at these, which get slotted into our main weapons. This Blood-Tinged gemstone is a circular type, and it's used to fortify our firearms, so that would go into our guns, or our torch, or whatever we wanted. I don't remember if the torch can take it, but definitely the gun. So if we step out here, we are again opening ourselves to an area right there. So we're going to have to rush into an ambush, and let's go ahead and use the monocular as best we can. There's a guy there. There's a guy hunched up in the corner. You can see, I think these are just burnt bodies, but there's a guy there. So let's just rush in and start whacking. I'm sure there'll be even more than we suspected. Like that. And our torch is helping us some. They have moments of bravery where they rush towards us, but then they're scared again by the torch. Alright. So there's more around us, but we're now at an angle where he can't shoot us anymore. So let's continue and keep our eye on the wall to our left. And watch out for things on our right. Okay. Yep, I was just gonna say, I think we're getting out far enough where he can hit us. So, I want to go out there, but we will do that later. We'll let anyone come towards us that wants to, though. Alright. So let's continue down here. An awful sound has been introduced. And somebody trying to lure us back this way. And if you remember, if I continue forward, I got to worry about a lot more bullets than that if I continue forward. So let's just... He really wants to fight off that way, and I'm just not going to take the bait. I got bigger problems than him if I continue out that way. So let's let him come this way. It's a little annoying, just... Now I'm caught. Alright. I'm not getting shot here, so... Or at least not by the guy I'm worried about. I need to not get trapped in this corner, which I did. So, we'll see how fast I can run past what I've already shown you. Again, that guy was not the real hazard. The real hazard was, one, that corner that I allowed myself to get caught in, but also me constantly worrying about the machine gunner behind me and to the top of that tower. So, Alright. Remember, for the most part, you can run past enemies in this game. A guy will run over this hill. Some more will run out of here. These guys are faster than the hunters were, though, so... Then we want to drop down here. Over this way. Past this guy, through this door. Past these guys. I didn't remember where this exit was, so over here and into this building. So I almost died. I didn't even realize that. We will get these guys, and I think, yeah, he already burst out. Alright, so let's take him on. And you can see we're almost right to where we were, so let's rush out here like we did before. We'll get this guy. We'll get this guy. The ones in the cloaks seem a little braver when the torch is out, so I tried to take care of him first. Alright, so blood vials, another gemstone. Here's this guy. There will be more off to my right. That one will wake up if we get close enough, which we may do when we're fighting the other hunter, so I wanted to take care of it now. And we'll go ahead and switch. Come down here. And I think he should be running around again. There, I got his attention. Whoops. You can see there's like an invisible leash where once he gets over far enough, he just automatically retreats. You can use that to your advantage. It's actually kind of annoying in this case, at least to me. It's also annoying that each time he's doing that jump attack, it's not stunning him. He did a transforming weapon attack on me too. So, let's see. It is a safe place to heal. At least you can use that to your advantage. Again, he ran off. The funny thing is, he stunned me when I was healing, which I didn't even know was a thing that could happen. See, he hides even more than... It's fairly annoying. Alright, come towards me. He's kind of a wuss. Like, really hiding out there, just... I don't mean he's a wuss as in he's easy to defeat, because obviously that was difficult for me. But he just stays at the distance, he keeps running away. That is where I'm saying it is not just annoying, it makes the fight difficult. It also makes it difficult that I didn't hit any of the right times to shoot my gun. But there are many ways to fight an enemy in this game, and the hunters can often be the most difficult, but also the most fair, I think. You could drop down there, I think. Yeah, but we're continuing up here. That ladder that I went up to get here is easily missed if you don't know where you're going or if you're not looking. But we sure are climbing to the top of a big tower here. And there's our gunner with a blunderbuss and some torches. Wow, that didn't do much damage to him. I shouldn't have done that, because I really need to heal. You don't want to get hit by that. Or that. Or this.
I should think you still have dreams. Well, the next time you dream, give some thought.
I should think you still have dreams. So the next time you dream, give thought. So, he's probably referring to our cycle here that we're caught in. I think he's saying we're caught in a hunter's dream. So, once you revive, don't just go running blindly into attacking him again. That's what he's saying, but that's what I'm gonna do. So it's pretty much the same run back, except without the hunter. We don't have to deal with the hunter this time. Which means we can run right over to the ladder. But I'm not sure if I'm actually, we did a visceral attack on him and it did not do much damage, so he seems like a tough enemy to fight. Now, you can use items. He used Molotovs on me, I could use Molotovs on him. But let's just try this again. I'm going to try, I don't know how ready he'll be, yeah, so he's up there. Let's just try rushing him. I actually like that it worked out that way, and I almost rolled off the edge. So you can see that shotgun is brutal.
I should think you still have dreams. Well, the next time you dream, give some thought.
So we'll have to change up our tactic a little bit. He's very aggressive. He fires that shotgun a lot, which does a lot more damage than our gun does to him. Even when we are able to get off a visceral attack, it doesn't do a lot of damage. I could try Molotovs, but he moves around so quick, I could see us missing with that a lot too. Again, this is not an expert run-through of Bloodborne. It's a lore-through specifically, because I'm not an adept speedrunner or challenge run person. I'm just playing through the game at my own pace. And trying to take on anything we can take on. If I hit barriers, we could as long as it's not stopping progress, we could continue past these barriers. And then make individual episodes for those barriers like I've talked about doing with the boss. I don't like his shotgun though. Well, I wanted to rush him. I was trying to stun him. But, okay, so he fell. Let's go ahead and try reloading the area and get back my 141 blood echoes there. Let's quit the game, reload, and see if anything he may have dropped is up here now. So, that would be a good cheesy way to take him on, is as soon as you're up at the top, blast him. It probably works even better with the blunderbuss or the repeating pistol. I do know From is good about not letting you lose items. So, for example, he fell off the edge. Rather than making those items unattainable, they put them up here where he fell from. And so it's a Powder Keg Hunter badge. He was a protector of this town. Or a late term protector anyway. So after he saw the brutality that has gone on here, and the world had abandoned it, I think he oversaw and just said, hey, stay out of here, leave them to themselves. And so I don't see him as a bad guy in that regard. He wasn't some mad beast that was just attacking us blindly. He warned us multiple times and said, stay out of here. So he gave us this Powder Keg Hunter badge, which is the badge crafted by the Powder Kegs, the heretics of the workshop. The Powder Keg's adoration of complex design and big booms culminated in weapon designs that contrast with those traditionally of the workshop. The late Powder Kegs, based on what they say in the second paragraph there, and based on their name, you can tell that they're fans of big explosions, which, and probably heavy guns like you saw. He had a weapon on his right hand that when he charged up, exploded in a burst towards the person it's attacking. The late Powder Kegs, bless their souls, had a motto: if a weapon ain't got kick, it just ain't worth it. So he was a heretic of the workshop and a Powder Keg hunter. So we now know of your typical hunters, the Healing Church hunters, and the Powder Keg hunters, which were considered heretics. Maybe they had more interest in gunpowder than blood. And there's that sound again. So now that he has been dealt with, let's collect this item that we saw. Cold Blood Dew. We'll deal with these guys too. We'll look around here. This is where we came out. We rushed over there. And then we have the area where we were fighting the hunter that we can now explore some. But watch out, more smoke means more obscured enemies. So listen for their footsteps like that. There's someone over there. Bone Marrow Ash. Let's see if this is a safe place. If we get attacked, it's no big deal. Famous last words. So Bone Marrow Ash Additional medium that strengthens quicksilver bullets, according to the workshop, with the special bone marrow ash collected from Hemwick Charnel Lane. So this bone marrow ash came from Henwick Charnel Lane. Hemwick, sorry. Invaluable to hunters with weak blood tinge who require the use of stronger firearms. So, my blood tinge is 7. It's my lowest stat. It's telling me that my guns would do more damage if I apply this bone marrow ash, this ash is gathered in Hemwick Charnel Lane. I see a ladder, I see a path down there, I hear a guy over here. Oh, I hear a bird over here. Several. Alright. There's a drop down spot there. I honestly don't remember this ladder. Oh. So, this was the first path that we dropped down into that room with this guy, and we were being shot from over here. So, that leads right down to here. There's a person, again, hanging here. Steps down this way. This is where I heard the other footsteps. And there's an item over here and a open window that we can't get through. So, let's see. This drop down leads us onto this window ledge, which itself then drops down. Down to here. Alright, so just this open window here into this dark room. Sometimes I kind of just rush in and just keep moving. Just see what you can see. So if somebody sees me, blood vials, there's a big boy, there's a smaller one. Lots of them. So let's try to at least funnel them together. I'd prefer taking them on one by one, but grouped at least lets you kind of whack multiples at once. Oh, they're getting brave, these ones. And don't die just because I'm being an idiot. So I've got poisoning. This is the first time we've had that in the game. So the first thing I'll want to do, though, heal. We did pick up antidotes, so this is the time to show you that. I honestly can't remember if I've ever been grabbed by those guys before like I had here, so let's go ahead. Use an antidote. I don't know if I ever looked at an item description for it, but obviously antidotes are for poison. And there's our buddy. He's slinking off. Alright. So let's collect the loose items. Look around the walls. Tempering Blood Gemstone. Again, strengthens our weapons. Allows you to slot in effects for your weapons. Like blunt attack up, thrust attack up, general attack up, rifle spear. Once we are kind of in a safe area, let's go ahead and look at that. This seems pretty safe. Alright, so that would be a right-handed weapon. A trick weapon crafted by the workshop heretics, the Powder Kegs. A prototype weapon serving as a simple firearm and spear. Possibly created in imitation of a lost Canehurst weapon. Lacks any notable function, saving that it is the only trick weapon with an attached gun. So this is a combination spear and gun. And it tells us it's possibly created to resemble or function like a lost Canehurst weapon. We haven't heard of Canehurst yet, so this is the first mention. So we actually have heard a reference, but it has not had those dots connected yet, so I won't connect them here. But we've heard mention of something related to Canehurst, and now we've heard of Canehurst itself and a lost weapon from there that the rifle spear resembles. And we have a note. The red moon hangs low, and beasts rule the streets. Are we left no other choice than to burn it all to cinders? So, this note seems to be left by those who would have burnt this place. So, we're finding powder keg weapons, powder keg badges. Are the powder kegs then the hunters responsible for burning Old Yharnam? And if the guy protecting, watching over, gunning down intruders in Old Yharnam, saying the beasts aren't hurting anyone, leave here, does he regret the actions of the heretical group he was a part of, or were they the ones that actually damaged this place? We'll have to find out more later. So, charred hunter garb. We have the regular hunter group, we have the Yharnam hunter group, and now we have the charred, and we have the foreign clothes we came in, Gascoigne's clothes. Let's look at the charred, which has no cap, apparently. So, one of the staple artifacts of hunter attire fashioned at the workshop, a product of the scourge of the beast that once plagued Old Yharnam and culminated in the town's fiery cleansing. So, it was purposefully set afire, and we knew it was purposefully abandoned. We assumed it was purposefully set afire. But the cape's dampness makes it highly resistant to a fire. Wearers of this attire hunted down victims of the scourge who survived the raging flames and stench of singed blood. So, people wore this fire-resistant hunter garb. They first set fire to the town, then came through and tried to wipe out anyone that survived. This is similar. It was designed to be highly resistant. Hunted down the surviving people. Yep. Mostly the same descriptions. So, the charred hunter garb was used by the people who attacked this town. And that's the drop down we saw earlier. Alright, so we are nearing the end of this episode. I think that Old Yharnam will be done in 3 parts. We will do this upper area where we've been. We dealt with the gunner up above. And that brings us to this entrance here. This entrance, which we will explore, we'll find out what that horrible sound is and what lies inside. So, I thank you for joining me on this episode. Like I said, in the next episode, we'll continue on through Old Yharnam, leading down to what is surely the boss of this area. And then we will have that as a standalone episode. So, until next time, thank you for joining.